Like whenever you were telling me your story, like a lot of the times we just see it as kids. It's like dad took a day off, but dad didn't get paid that day.
Yeah.
No.
Mom didn't get paid that day.
Yeah.
Well, we don't think about those things, but we know as an adults now that things do happen.
Yep.
So when did the idea of focusing on that part of their journey to getting better for the kids started? Welcome you and all to another episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast, where we talk about Latino everything. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for subscribing. We're at 1,000 subscribers. Thanks to you. And I'm lost for words because honestly, it took a long time to get to 1,000 subscribers. And the fact that it's growing is amazing because we can carry the message on of the beautiful work that we got here, especially on the beautiful things that these two individuals that I have today are doing. Today, we have two amazing individuals, one with a bachelor's degree from the University of Texas, and the other graduated from Texas A&M University with a degree in business management, founders of Salood, Inc., an incorporated nonprofit organization founded in 2019 under the Texas Nonprofit Corporation Law. They've been featured on WFAA, Dede in the Morning. They've been mentioned in Kidd Kraddick and many morning shows and publications. We have Joshua Castillo and Kenny Freeland in the house. How y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm great.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
I hope y'all enjoyed the introduction, and I hope I got everything correctly.
I was the
Yeah.
best.
Thank you.
I want to wake up like that every day.
I make
Yeah.
I make the best intros. I work on
Yeah.
it very much. Thank you very much for taking the time to be in here. I know y'all stay busy. I know you're definitely working on the foundation. And again, it's greatly appreciated. Thank you. Now we're going to go ahead and start with a segment that I like to call Preguntas al Chile. If you have not subscribed to the channel, check out the graphics that Carlos put together. I don't know what you're waiting for. Are y'all ready?
Yes.
This is a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Which one do you prefer? Mostly it's Latino dishes, but it's so good. Tacos or tortas? We're going to go with Joshua first.
Tacos always.
Yeah. Tacos.
Tacos. See, he's even pronouncing it better, bro. What's going on with that? Corn tortilla or flour tortilla?
That depends on what you're eating. Because I like fajitas,
Yep.
flour, but like street tacos, corn.
Smart man. What about yourself?
I'm always corn.
You always
Yeah.
corn? Smart man, too. It's pretty good. Gorditas or sopes?
Sopes?
Sopes as well.
Sopes? You like, see, are you Mexican, bro? I think you're Mexican. It's okay, though. We're open to everybody. Just because it's the global land. We're going to exclude anybody else. Mexican coca or jarrito?
Again, it depends on the situation.
Yes.
Jarrito, though,
Yeah.
always.
The Coke.
The Coke? Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a Mexican coca? A Coke?
Yep.
Did you notice the difference between an American Coke and a Mexican Coke? Is there any difference to you?
Well, I know the Mexican Coke is using like real sugar.
But can
Yeah.
you taste it though? Can you taste the difference? You can
If
be honest.
I don't know if I've ever had them side by side though.
Really?
Yeah.
We need to do a test.
Yes,
Yeah.
we
A
do.
taste it. One or the other. see
blind
which one
taste
it is.
test.
Right. Blind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Very good.
Uh,
Okay. Agua de horchata, Jamaica or tamarindo. Joshua?
Horchata, always.
Always.
I don't know if I've had either of those.
Kenny?
Yeah.
No? Either one?
I don't
No
think so.
aguas frescas?
No, I don't think so.
You've had horchata with us before.
It's like white, creamy
Yeah.
water.
Okay, yeah. I've
Flavor
had-
water.
Jen will order that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've had horchata.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to go with the you.
Yeah.
You like that one.
Another test.
Salsa verde, salsa roja. Do you like spicy food?
Verdes, probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
Roja.
Roja?
Yeah.
Ooh, red all day. That's what I'm talking about. Menudo or pozole?
Menudo, always.
Yes.
No matter the season. Yeah.
What about also
Yeah.
menudo? Oh, nice. Churros or flan?
Churros.
Dessert?
Yeah, churros.
Churros too. Valentina Tapatio, Cholula or Tabasco hot sauce?
Tabasco hot sauce.
Yes.
Yeah, Cholula.
Cholula?
Mm-hmm.
Cholula man over here. The pastries, the conchitas they call them. There's the little brown ones, the white ones, or the pink ones. Have you ever had them? Which one do you
Yes.
prefer?
Conchas. Probably the white.
Yeah, I don't know if I've had Different variations.
They look like almost like turtle shells, and they're white ones and pink ones, and they're like round looking.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's the white ones, the only ones I've had then.
The vanilla, they're like vanilla flavor. It's
Mhm.
supposed to be vanilla flavor, chocolate, and the pink is mystery. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know what the flavor is, but it's one of them. Okay, this one's way off the wall, nothing to do with food. A conspiracy theory that you heard one time, and when they told it to you, it's like, man, that has to be true. Any of them?
La chupa. I can't say it, the word.
Chupacabra?
Yes.
Well, do you think it's real?
Gosh. As a child, definitely. Today, I don't think so. I don't know.
My theory on the chupacabra, and I keep saying it over and over, is that so this one guy that does TikToks about animals tried to say that it was like a ravaged dog or whatever, but it doesn't explain that animals, their blood was getting like they had like three like dots or three area where the blood was like drained out.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't explain a dog. I don't think a dog would do that.
No.
So my theory on that is there was an alien, like an alien's pet, that got away and started creating havoc on all the animals, and eventually he caught them and took them back home, and that's the reason why we don't hear about it no more.
No.
That's just my theory.
I'm going to go with that one.
You know what I mean? What about yourself, Kenny?
Yeah, talking about that, I think the one would be Bigfoot.
Bigfoot?
Yes.
You know what? I've seen some very convincing footage about like different things like that. Like it's like they're still blurry. Why is it always blurry? That's the thing that I don't understand. But some of them seem to be like, what is that? Like that does look kind of like what's going on. Not to mention all the woods and things that we haven't explored that people really don't roam around.
Yep.
Who knows what could be out there?
Doesn't that amaze you though when you see like footage and it's like we live in 2023 and it's still blurry?
Yep.
You would think it'd be more crystal clear.
Like surveillance camera
yeah,
footage.
Yeah, it's like, did you see this? You're like,
yeah.
How they're like 2 feet away and it's still blurry?
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
That doesn't. That's another conspiracy in itself too. All right. So when you hear the word Latino, what first comes to mind? Latino, Latina, Latinx. What first comes to mind?
Proud. Yeah.
Kenny is not Latino.
Yeah.
However, it doesn't necessarily exclude from you hearing the word and whatever comes to mind to you.
Yeah, I think it's appreciative.
Appreciative?
Yeah, I think having like diversity wherever you are, like it brings like new experiences. It also brings new ways of thinking, new ways of understanding.
I appreciate that very much. That's a great answer. Thank you very much.
Good answer.
Yeah, it was amazing. And of course, do you mind if they call you Latino? Do you care if they call it Latino, Joshua?
As like in a good or
like
bad
if anybody was to call you that you're Latino or Latino, whatever, do you mind if you're getting?
I think as a child, I don't think I really understood that, but as an adult, I'm like, oh, you should put that in my description.
Really?
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah,
and of course I'm gonna ask you that. But if you were to be called Latino at one time, you know, Canelo's very much like your complexion, bro.
Yes.
You could be from Jalisco or Chihuahua and you'll pass the Latino, but we're gonna skip on that question for you.
Yeah.
And all right, so let's get to your organization. So Salood Inc. is what it's called, correct? Salood, and it's if I'm not mistaken, it's a play on one of y'all heard Uber was forward on a different language. It was either German or whatever language it was, and so you want to incorporate that to get it known that way, and you use Salood, which is Salud is health, Salud is cheers. Salud is bless you. It means different things. That's how Spanish rolls.
It's a multi-purpose
It's
word.
multi-purpose. So that's how y'all wanted to roll with the word to get it known?
I remember that story too in college because I heard it. And I remember thinking, this is before everything. And I remember we were going over names, which one of them, or the other.
It was Muy Bien, the other name. It was between Muy Bien and Salud.
But we were to like change like the phrase on it. Like not phrase, but the spelling. And he was like, I don't like that. So then I talked about how Salud is, again, multi-purpose. And he goes, let's just switch the words around. And it really was, with almost instant, we knew that.
Salud. Salud.
It's just
so
a play.
Muy bien was too long, right?
No. Yeah. I told him, he was like, I don't like that. He's like, let's find us something else. And then luckily we had that already too. So
y'all started rearranging the word itself, which is crazy because even Salud, even with what y'all do, it's kind of sort of like the goal at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
Even though you're helping with the nonprofit, making sure that you help families, you still the ultimate goal is to make sure that they get well.
Absolutely.
But they still help them as their journey progresses.
I think what sticks out to us too is like you're in good health, but also cheering them. I don't know. It's like, again, it has this multi-purpose with it.
Yeah,
so I really like
absolutely.
that idea.
I like that too.
And blessing them too.
Blessing them too.
Right.
Like, the whole word is incorporated in everything
Yep.
that y'all do. Okay, so 2019,
hmm
one of you is working on a airport, which was, who was working on the airport?
Oh, it was me.
You were working on the airport. You saw people that were families with, you seem like pediatric.
The story, that's going backwards.
You want me to have him tell it? Or you?
Yeah, no. I remember that story because by this point we already were thinking the idea. So this is kind of skipping ahead a little, like more, but it was at the beginning of that I remember seeing like a kid with like a backpack, and I remember that concept was already in our head. That I was like, oh, that'd be kind of fun if like that was designed by somebody. So it was more of just like validating that idea that we were already considering.
Okay, so let's go back. Before even that idea came to mind, how far back y'all been thinking about doing a nonprofit?
Wasn't it like 2018?
Yeah,
right?
2018 is when we started talking about it.
It's almost a whole year before that happened that you saw that. How did you know those kids? That kid was for like he was dealing with like cancer or whatever.
I remember. Gosh, I forgot about story. That was a memory I forgot. I think he might have had just gone through chemo. You can kind of tell. I think that's what it was. That family that kind of went to the airport. That's what I remember from them.
Yeah. What do you remember from that family? That conversation that you had?
They were just trying to make it.
Yeah.
Just not doing well.
Really?
Yeah.
That moved you some way, somehow?
Oh, for sure. Because no one deserves that, no matter the age, but especially pediatric. That's probably even where it gets harder for them.
What do you prefer, pediatric instead of child? Because I know you use it often more.
Sure.
Than childhood cancer.
I guess for me, for pediatric, what sticks out the most is that I feel like they're robbed of a blissful childhood, and it's like no kid should deserve. I'm not saying an adult, right? But I think I use my parallel of my childhood of just being able to experience life without even being interrupted by an illness.
Right.
So it's that idea of like that's the best time to grow up and not have distractions. That some of these kids are from the age of 2 months all the way to 18 are experiencing that. So for me personally, I don't like that idea that we're in a world where these kids are sick and they can't do anything about it. It's unfortunate.
Now, 2019, one of you had something personal that was more tied to the actual childhood cancer. Who was that? Was that you?
Yeah, that was me.
Well, okay, can you tell us a story?
I was a fragile kid. That's like an easy way to say it. So I had a lot of illnesses growing up. I wasn't impacted by pediatric cancer though. But a lot of illnesses that would leave me in the hospital for like weeks at a time.
Oh, wow.
And when we were first talking about it, as a kid, you don't understand like the financial burden side of it.
Right.
But you can still see like, oh, my dad had to take off work to be there with me, or my mom took off work to be there with me. So looking back now, I could see like, okay, yeah, that could be a big financial burden. And then when we started talking about how could we get a kid involved like with our mission, and we were talking about kind of the concept, which I think we'll probably go through in a little bit. I was like, if that experience was open for me, I would have loved that. Like I was such an entrepreneurial kid. Like I was the kid selling candy at camp and
nice.
Doing all those little things. So
of course.
When we were thinking about like the mission and like what we wanted to do, how we wanted to impact that community,
right?
I could pull in. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember being a kid, like sitting in a hospital, and you're pretty limited to entertainment.
Yeah.
But something where you have more purpose behind your time there would be really cool.
Yeah. So Ronald McDonald House helps with childhood cancer. They don't have a TV or anything while they have their stay, the home. And that's just so they can spend more time with their family.
Sure.
Imagine having something like what y'all do as a project to work on as they working on developing. So let's start up with the concept. In the airport, at the same time, you remember celebrities were kind of sort of aligning with brands, right?
Yes.
So,
I'll go for it.
Go ahead.
No, we mutually had that kind of same reaction because that was a really big trend. It still is till this day, right? Influencer celebrities. But back then, I think it was really prominent of like, oh, there's this celebrity collection with this ambassador they partnered with.
Right.
And it would sell out. So we were like discussing like fundraising ideas or how to kind of separate us. that's kind of how that evolved into that.
Okay, and your main focus is, of course, there's the Ronald McDonald's, there's Jude, there's all the other ones, right? But a lot of them focus on the actual treatment.
Yes.
But y'all's focus is more on the everyday expense, such as, gas, food,
life,
and different things like that. Life in general, bills that maybe Ronald McDonald's or the other chair. Not to talk bad on y'all, I'm just saying in general, y'all cover, which is very expensive, the medication part. But everyday stuff, everyday life, a lot of the time some other organizations don't focus on that.
No.
They focus on healing the kids, but it doesn't stop the bills from coming. Like whenever you were telling me your story, like a lot of the times we just see it as kids, it's like dad took a day off, but dad didn't get paid that day.
Yeah.
No.
Mom didn't get paid that day.
Yeah.
Well, we don't think about those things, but we know as an adults now that things do happen.
Yeah.
So when did the idea of focusing on that part of their journey to getting better for the kids started?
I think understanding the why behind what we were doing was kind of what came up in 2018. So the why of it was like during any type of treatment, there's going to be some type of loss of income.
Right.
And there's going to be an increase of cost. And understanding that as an adult, like when we were 25, when we started it, and thinking like, oh, if this happened to me now, I'd be impacted. And so understanding the why, we're like, okay, like no one deserves to be impacted by cancer. It's really out of the control of, the family. But one of the ways that we were talking about, how can we raise money? Because we want to help these people. We want to financially assist them, but we're also 25. We don't have any money. And so how can we raise money? And that's where I think kind of our entrepreneurial passions aligned a lot. And thinking about that, we're like, okay, we can run this like a business. Like what could we do? Okay, you could sell something, right? So our first attack at this was like, okay, let's treat this like a business. We're going to find brands that will be willing to do a collaboration. And what's going to make the collaboration even better is we'll find kids who are entrepreneurial, who are impacted by pediatric cancer, who want that opportunity to express their creativity or want to be the creative director behind something. And giving them that opportunity to work with the brand, just like a celebrity would or an influencer would nowadays, it doesn't only give them an amazing experience, but what they're doing is they're raising money for this whole community. And that allows us to then go help multiple families by that one collaboration.
Nice. And then the very first one that y'all did was the bouquet. Y'all aligned with a flower shop. Was the place here
Dallas
in
Farmers Market.
Farmers Market. Y'all aligned with the company. How did y'all find your first company? How did that go?
I just remember we were just Google searching and just I don't remember the exact detail. I remember we just stumbled on somebody at the farmer's market and kind of bounced it. Because I think I remember this now. It's there are so many independent businesses there. So we couldn't really call up anybody because we're so small. So we needed someone basically to take a chance on us. And I think we went one by one at the Dallas farmer's market, whoever would take us in. And we stumbled on that flower shop. That was like, yeah, this seems like a good idea. Let's try it.
What drove y'all? I'm pretty sure rejection doesn't feel good for anybody. Even though y'all have the right idea, your heart is in the right place. But you went into a few places and they just kept saying no. What kept pushing y'all to keep going and finally find that flower shop?
For me, I think it's I don't know. I just always felt like, okay, if someone says no, someone else might say yes. It's like being determined. So yes, that was not fun to hear rejection, but it just heightened the experience every single time. We would perfect our pitch essentially. And I think it's just keep going. So
if you was to pitch it to me at that time for you were doing, what would you say?
If I were to pitch you right now and we just started?
Yes.
Oh man, okay. Improvise. Of what I remember is just talking about the why first of what we're doing. So I would discuss to them, or we would discuss together of okay, this is the idea that we have, and then lean into the financial demand of it. And then ending it with the idea of okay, well, do you have anything on your line of products that someone can collaborate with? And from that, would you be willing to give a % of the proceeds? And then somehow just morph that conversation all together, and then really just kind of tug at their heart, because kind of what Kenny said is you forget, right? All of us humans forget how financially demanding treatment is in general. So I think it's just really zeroing in on that concept, and then on the other side of it, well, let's do something fun together. Let's do something innovative together. I think that's what it was too, was we saw celebrity brand partnerships thriving. So why not give that opportunity to a child that deserves to be heard and seen, and also elevated in a way where they're not looked at as oh, they're sick. No, they're beyond their diagnosis. They deserve so much more. So it's just, from what I remember early days, is just trying to get that why, and then see if they would be able to give up a spot with us. And Yeah.
Yeah. So now that you find the flower shop, how do you find a kid of that's going to be aligned with that, or who did anybody tell you about a particular kid?
We got lucky. By that point we were talking to the children's hospitals here to establish the financial fund. Once we started fundraising, once the money starts rolling in, so that once we have that established, I think one of the caseworkers was like, to help you like kind of launch this, we'll identify a family that I think would make a good fit. And then from then on, maybe y'all can figure out like a separate way to identify ambassadors. So the hospital actually found it first.
The hospital found the kids first. Which hospital was it?
Children's Dallas.
Children's Dallas.
Yeah, one of the caseworkers. But since then, after that collaboration, we actually built a network that we haven't leaned on that ever again, because we now have families come to us or we go to them. Yeah.
That's great.
Just from that one experience.
So how was the first experience? How was it? What did y'all learn from the first experience of getting together, lining up with which I had the idea first, aligning with a company, a local company, a local store, and then with a local kid. I don't know if it's local or not, but just aligning and then finally launching the first product. What did y'all learn from that, and what helped y'all push for the next time to get it better?
I'm gonna think on this. You want to take it first?
Yeah, I think part of it was we wanted the proof of concept, and we wanted that feedback on the whole experience, right? So doing it right, okay, from the business side, what was the experience like? And we knew from the farmer's market, the flower shop they're trying at the market, they're like, this has been one of the most rewarding things we ever worked on. And then also we got them like marketing and different things like that were, something they had not even thought about. Like coming in and writing stories about them and like spreading the word about their business. So like, okay, from the business side, like they benefited, and it was a really great experience. And then from the kid, they got to go in, like create something on their own. Like we had a whole launch party, and then, they went on WFAA the next day and like shared their story. And it was a really uplifting experience for the whole family. Wow. So like, okay, like this is what we thought it would be like. We thought the business, would benefit from it, and we thought it's going to be an amazing experience for a kid.
Yeah.
And then, we raised money. We didn't raise a ton of money, relatively speaking to some of our more recent collaborations, but we're like, okay, this is the proof of concept. It worked. Now we can show other businesses this and be like, hey, here's how the experience was. We even had some like footage from it as well. And so, yeah, I think just having that proof of concept is like, okay, it works. Now, like, let's just go pitch it as much as we can and try to find our next collab so we can give that experience to another kid.
Wow. What about you? What do you remember from that same experience? Same thing?
Same thing. I just remember we like hustled for just any press mentions, because when you're nothing, like it still is hard, but back then it was like amazing to even get a reply. So I think back on that as you're talking about it. It's like I just remember getting like the WFAA email like, oh yeah, we coming tomorrow. It's like, oh wait, they're interested. We have to say. And so that memory kind of serves me well, because it was like the start of something. And also too, at the same time, I'm looking like as our last collaboration this last December went from a flower to a whole product collection of like bags and accessories. So it just reminds me of like how far we've come as like we were talking about this.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. So at that time, from that, is there a particular time? I don't know if you have run campaigns or if the product lasts for like a month, 2 months, 3 months.
Sure.
So in the beginning, was it just for that particular day, a month or so? How long did it run for?
I think we've always kind of stuck to the traditional campaign rollout of like really heightened in the first few weeks and kind of see it. If it's in demand, then keep it. If not, shut it off. So I think it's about usually a month. It's really never for a day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's usually about a day's worth of, first of all, you have to promote it.
You have to introduce it.
Introduce it for a while.
Sure.
And then after you get it rolling here for about a month, just how long the collaboration lasts?
Yeah, pretty much. And if it's in demand, we keep it for longer. So we've had some that have come back because they're in demand. So it just depends.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And then it's up to y'all. Again, I'm pretty sure everything's public. But as far as that particular time with that flower shop, what was the percentage was as far as what it was going to the family and what they were going to keep? Because mostly they were doing all the work and all the material and everything.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so 100% of the profits from the sale came back to Salood.
For that one.
Yeah, so the flower shop covered their costs of the materials, flowers, vases, and the actual profits came back to us. And then how our model works is through our collaborations, then we use those profits to give to multiple families. So the kid who's typically doing the collaboration, who's our Salood ambassador, they're really just the face of it, and they're trying to raise money for their community, their cancer community. So no money went directly back to that family, but it jump-started us being able to go help multiple families that were in need in DFW.
What's interesting is, too, is actually all families have declined the money if we were to give it to them because they're just happy for their kid to even be there.
You know what's crazy? Because a lot of the times, especially when you're sick and you're recovering well, you want to create a great environment. You want to be happy. You want to stress-free.
Sure.
But then what y'all were talking about makes me think of people that retire, that have no purpose in life anymore, and shortly after, there's really nothing. Imagine a kid that's going through an illness, and they give them a purpose to live and to
keep going,
to create something, to be a creator at that time, to be part of something. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if there's any science or any research is done, but I'm pretty sure during that time they're wanting to live is a whole lot higher for them because they have a purpose to fulfill. And then it's crazy that sometimes they don't even want the money. The family doesn't want the money for the same reason that they know that it's even bigger than they are.
Exactly.
Because they'll be able to help other people that they can relate to, that they've gone through the same thing.
Sure.
So it's crazy.
I know.
All right. So how, after that one, where's the next one? Where's the next campaign comes? So where the next collaboration comes?
Came right after. So we did that September. Our next one, we were already working on that by then with the T-shirt. So December, I think we had the rollout.
Is that the T-shirt that Kidd Kraddick, JC?
Yeah.
JC got the T-shirt? Is that the one? Can you tell us about that one?
Well, I love JC. So that was with an ambassador named Liam. He might have been near the end of treatment, I think. But he had this like booklet. So when I can't remember how we got introduced to him, but I know we did, and we knew we wanted to do something special with him. And so his parents had showed us a book of colorings that he would do while he was in the hospital, like hand-drawn designs. And I think it might have been just like a idea from Kenny, like, why don't we digitize that, put it on a T-shirt, to that way kind of it's from him exclusive. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like it's just, he drew that, right? So
it's just exclusive designs from the things that he created.
Yeah, that's him that did that. No one else did it. And so it was like a really simplistic idea, and then it was a very successful campaign for us, and Liam was super happy at the end of it.
Awesome. Was there a particular person that you used that time, a company, or was it something that y'all did?
At that point, we did it independently because I think maybe most of the ones we were working on were not premiered until next year, because a lot of times there's leadway, like times when people take a long time to actually produce whatever we're working on. And so that one was like, we just knew we needed to work with him now. And I think that's kind of where we were like, we can do it independently. So we worked with the third-party vendor that produced it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So was the vendor in line, did he help you out at all whatsoever with that time, or it was just
us.
It's just y'all? So yeah, took care of the charge based on
everything. Yeah.
Everything. Nice. How did the JC idea come to mind? Who was the one that slid into his DM?
Might have been me. I might have a screenshot on my phone over somewhere. But I think I just wrote to him of like, I don't know, I just said something like, I would love to be able to give this to you somehow if there's a possible way. Because, I mean, he's such a voice in the Dallas Metroplex. And then what I remember is that he messaged me back and was like, oh, fine, put it, I'll meet you, or there was something. And then we left.
I know the story.
Yeah, we have that clip, and then there was something that got lost. I don't even remember. So
he said, put it under this bench.
Yeah.
We won't be into the studio
like,
next morning.
Yeah, so I knew I just needed to give it to him soon because the goal was for him to promote it. So, mind you, we weren't anticipating him to be speaking about it on air.
On air?
No. It was just like, will you just have this shirt if
maybe
okay?
post it on social media?
Yeah, like because we're still a young freshman nonprofit. So the story being on air, I remember going to work and hearing that on the radio, and I was like, what the heck? So I remember calling him, and I'm like, we did not pay for that. That was a free story that he gave us. So it was awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So the story goes, somebody DM'd the shirt, told him what you got
he
going on.
He told us where to take it.
Yes, he'll take it.
Yeah.
You were going to FedEx it, but you wanted to get it to him as soon as possible.
Exactly.
Yeah, I happened to put it under a bench.
Uh-huh.
And so happened to be that day they cleared the trash cans. But luckily, the shirt was still there.
It was hidden.
He talked about it on air. There's a clip on YouTube channel.
Uh-huh.
And then he gave you a shout out.
He was
Gave
like
you
one of
a
the first
shout-out.
validations we had.
Yeah, and then I don't know if he put it on social media or not, or the link to where to get it or something like that. I don't know
I can't
if
remember.
he shared or something like that.
Sure.
But even the pitch itself for the audience that they have is just crazy.
I know.
And of course, he talked about how y'all a nonprofit, how y'all doing what y'all doing, and it's amazing. And then later on, I don't know if it was in the same time, but Dede in the morning, y'all got a chance to even go there and be interviewed by her.
Joshua Castillo. What up, fellas? What's going on?
Let me say this. Business must be good because I have never seen such positive energy. You guys are smiling.
Yeah.
You're happy. You must
happy.
be really rich right now.
I know. Are you guys rich? What's going on? Tell us about your organization.
Yeah, so Salood basically partners pediatric cancer patients with companies.
How did that come to be, and what campaign was that y'all were, or what collaboration was that?
Was that still Liam's?
That was with Charming at the Market.
Was it Charm at the Market?
Yeah.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Okay. So how did that opportunity come to be? The same thing, just reaching out, shooting DMs?
Being our own publicist.
Yeah?
Yeah. And then it worked somehow.
Who reached out to y'all
No,
as far as for that?
we reached out to producers. So whoever like the network is, and then it got transferred to some, I think their showrunner, and then that's when we're contacted to go in the studio. Kind of, I remember it moved very fast.
Yeah, it was fast.
Yeah, it was a fast process. It was like, oh, be in tomorrow? Okay.
Just like that.
Yeah.
And the interviews was quick, but y'all were really
Sure.
good. Y'all talked very well about what y'all were doing, the idea. I think people talking in that moment, they didn't get the concept of it, but y'all explained it very well how to simplify it. Like, look, and then I'm still kind of sort of grasping the idea. So the ambassador are the kids, which is equivalent to y'all celebrities that lines up with the brands.
Yes.
And that's the face that y'all want to portray
Yes.
on that campaign, to see people that they're the ones, they're the artists, they're the visionaries, they're the ones that creators for whatever product and company y'all align with. And then y'all put the product out for people, y'all promote it, and then people go in there, and sometimes it's 100% and sometimes it's a percentage of whatever that product is that it goes to families. Sometimes it doesn't go to the ambassadors, sometimes it goes to the families, and or depending on if they want to take some of the money, but a lot of the times y'all find out that the families don't even want to take that. Is that kind of sort of what I'm getting? Okay, that's pretty cool.
All families have never taken it. It's all, I think now it's pitched as like, this is the ambassador opportunity. And no one ever has really reached out and be like, oh, do we get a percent? Because they're just happy their kid's even part of this.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I think that the fact that you give them a purpose to keep fighting, to take away their mind of whatever's going on and focus on being a creator and giving them a purpose to benefit other people, I think that's crazy amazing to me.
Thanks.
It's like super neat that y'all were able to do it. I was trying to, when I was watching all the videos, I kind of sort of got it, but until Carlos told me about you and I was able to actually finally start looking into it and listen to y'all, it's like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
All right. Hello, we're jumping in just to let you know to make sure you subscribe and hit the notification if you are enjoying the podcast. Thank you very much. And now back to the episode. So what is the most successful campaign that you had so far? The collaboration that you had. I keep calling it campaign. I don't know why.
It is a campaign.
It's a
campaign.
campaign.
Do you want to go first? I'll go.
Yeah, you can talk about
Most successful is our last one, Giving Tuesday, Stony Clover Lane. It's an accessories brand out of New York. So they gave us the opportunity to do a whole collection, which typically we get maybe like one product, two products. One product is always enough, but to be able to say, okay, can you just tell us what they want to create? So it went from like a duffel bag to a tote to a fanny to this whole collection to creating her own color down to the zipper. I mean, it was so customized. That's why I mentioned earlier about the whole charming, like from a flower, which is still great.
Yeah.
To actually have like a product that people are wearing right now that have it was the ultimate success. But then on top of that, they were so generous. They gave us 100% proceeds.
100%.
100%.
Wow.
And then from that, I remember when it launched, I mean, they gave us like the commercial look that we're striving for, right? Because if you look at campaigns, they have this very specific look. And for a while, it was very homegrown campaigns, which were still great. But this was like the first time a company's really elevated us in a way of like, okay, that's where we're always meant to be. And to celebrate it all, we got donated a billboard in Times Square at the end of it.
Are you serious?
And the ambassador got to see it. And we didn't get to see it because we actually were in New York the week before to see this, because they have a storefront. So we checked out the storefront, which was also very fun too, to see to see a display
Absolutely.
with your logo and like your signage and your mission is like a dream. But to have that billboard, and one, the ambassador gets to see that. I mean, what 14-year-old wouldn't love that? Especially for someone that's already been through so much. I mean, her family was so appreciative of what she's gotten to do, but that was like the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
But I also have other campaigns that I love too. They have all have served something special for us, but that's the one that sticks out because, you know, when you're building something, you have like a vision, a long-term vision at least.
Yeah.
For us to kind of succeed and get that, I mean, who knows what's next? I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's next, but that was definitely an impactful moment for me.
How did that campaign? How did that collaboration come to be? And who was the ambassador for that one?
Her name was Ava.
Ava?
Yeah. And that came for it was going on 3 years. So about a year and a half of relentlessly pushing through cold emails. And at first we were not responded to because they're very sought after. So we knew, I don't know what it was. I think for he and I, something we mutually knew that there was an opportunity there, but it was like, okay, we have to be patient. And so for so long, we were like passed on by them. And then rightfully so, because they're over here collaborating with very large, big companies, right? But for whatever reason, every time we revised our pitch, it was like we were inching closer and closer. So like one day, maybe like at 8 p.m., 3 years ago, the founder was like, I'm connecting with my head of partnerships. And that was like the first time she responded.
Why that company specifically? What did you see about that particular company that y'all liked, that y'all thought would be a good alignment with y'all?
For me personally, because I've known about them for a while, I think, one, they're close in age. So I think it's just having that connection of being someone versus, you know, twice our age that might not get it. Because they're very philanthropic already, their brand, which I appreciated. But their story of where, like us too, they're a bracelet company, like at the beginning of it. 10 years ago in college, there were 2 college sisters that started a bracelet company, and it morphed over the years into a full-fledged accessories brand, and they're at the top of their game. So it's like that alignment of like, I get them to where I want to work. I just want to be in the same room as them, to be in that, like, you know, those design meetings and whatever it is. And so it's that attraction right there. And then on top of it, I remember we had talked about, like, because when families are moving into hospital rooms, they're thrust in there, right? So they have to grab a bag.
Yeah.
So I told Kenny, I was like, it'd be so amazing to have like a customized bag that's designed for families that are going through pediatric cancer. And I was like, I feel like Stony Clover is going to be that brand that's going to give that to us, and also families too. And so for whatever reason, relentless not pushing, but cold emailing. For whatever reason, a year and a half later, she bit, and then head of partnerships talks to us. And next thing you know, for 2 years, we were in development. We just launched last year.
How many emails do you think you sent to her?
Do you want to get my phone? Probably a lot.
A lot.
And the thing is too, when we pitch, or at least because I do some of the pitches too, it's like, you also don't want to be so pushy where it's, you know, turn off. So it's also just sharing why you're there, but also highlighting, like, I know if this is not, it's okay. Like, you don't have to feel like you need to respond. But I would say if I were to calculate over the course of a year and a half, we would try to pitch, I would say about 8.
Was it within the same email or a brand new email every time?
Every new thread. New thread, because things go to spam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just start fresh.
Every single time. And we would change up the verbiage, we would change up the subject, we would change like the approach. I mean, this is where we had pitch decks too. That's another thing why I think I appreciate that campaign so much.
What is it called again?
Like our pitch decks. Just having
the
like a deck.
Mm-hmm.
Because by that point, we weren't so knee deep in other collabs. We were still very young because it was 3 years developing. So the idea that we somehow, to me, it's still amazing. I could talk about it all day.
Yeah. What about yourself? What was that experience like with that collaboration? What was on your part? What were you thinking about whenever y'all just kept reaching out and when it finally happened?
Yeah, I think when it finally happened, it was like a validation of like, oh, I knew we would get here one day. Because this brand was working with like Coca-Cola, Juicy, like really, really large brands for their collaborations. Disney's
big partners of ours.
And I can remember the day that we went to New York to see the display. And, you know, they've done displays for giant brands. And I think we would actually be the smallest brand they've ever worked with, to be honest. But I remember seeing that and I was like, this is so amazing. It's so just like captivating. I was like, I always knew we'd be here. Like, I knew like this day would come. So it was more of that, like, you know, like we've always dreamed really big, but we started really small.
Yeah.
And that dreaming big and like doing that, having the billboard, you know, having an ambassador who's doing a full-on product line, that she picked her own color. It was called Ava Blue. They'd never done that color before. It was one of those things where, like, yeah, I knew we'd get here. And it was also really exciting because I was like, this is another step of validation of, like, it's another proof of concept. Like, you know, now when we're reaching out to some brands, they can go on our website and be like, oh, wow, they worked with Stony Clover Lane. Stony Clover Lane is crushing it. They're doing big collaborations. So I don't think they'll ever understand the importance that had to our mission. And like, we're so eternally grateful that they gave us an opportunity. Because we talk about it now, like, even when we reached out, like, we had a very small following on Instagram.
Yep.
Like, we only had a few collaborations under our belt, but they really believed in, like, that experience we were trying to give a kid, and could see how it ties back into financial assistance. So yeah, it was one of those things where it was just, it's the biggest one we've done, but it gets you excited for the future.
Yeah, I like because if you want to see what it was like, I can go to the YouTube channel and be able to see what happened. So I like the way that they laid it out. Like, they sent the whole bags, examples of things that they can pick, the samples, which one she was going to pick. And then you got to really involve the ambassador, Ava. They got her all involved in picking all those items. And then finally getting the lady, one of the founders, I'm guessing, one of the owners, talking about how they were going to do what they were going to do. And then all of a sudden now the launch of the product. And it was like the whole collection. Yeah. With her particular color, not even a blue, her particular color. Like, they went all out.
They're very generous.
Experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, though. I saw it, but I didn't realize, like, I knew they were a big deal because of the way everything was getting put out. But at the same time, it's like, to give a kid that type of like, experience that, especially, as you mentioned, going through all kinds of difficulties, to be able to see that, and then now have a product line that other people are getting to have and carry around. Yep. It's just crazy to me. I know I keep saying crazy. It's not crazy. No. It's amazing. It's super amazing that y'all were able to do that.
Oh, it's an accomplishment for sure.
So y'all are, I don't know if I want to spoil it, if it's too, if y'all don't want to talk about it, but you have a new partnership maybe coming along here very soon with somebody here locally? Or that's too early to talk about?
I'll ask my co-founder.
No, I don't think it's too early to talk about. We'll build the hype about it now. Yeah.
Okay, so y'all have a brand new collaboration that y'all going to be working here in the near future. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
The Dallas Stars.
The Dallas Stars. Yes. So how did that come to be? Co-pitching too?
Yes.
And then you have somebody that actually read the email. And then now what happened?
That, for us, again, like kind of we talked about, like we knew we'd get somewhere. Sports has always been the very obvious choice, but with like licensing included, it gets very complicated. It's not that we've ever talked ourselves out of it. It's more of like, let's get a little more advanced and then go back. And after coming off last year, it was like, we might be ready, but who would be willing to take us on? So brainstorming between the two of us, and Kenny's from Dallas, so he, I think, had mentioned like, the Dallas Stars would be pretty good.
Yeah.
And then researching, seeing how philanthropic they are was like, okay. And I guess when you're researching, right, you look at what they've done previously. So it's really a good sign when a brand or an organization like theirs is so diverse in where they give back. Because some brands are very strictly on education, mental health. But for them, it was like staggered. It was like just so many options. And so they have a foundation too. So it felt like we didn't think we would get it, but we thought, oh, that'd be kind of nice one day, right? So fun fact about that actual pitch was we went into the meeting actually requesting some tickets.
Oh, wow.
For our families.
For your families.
Yeah.
Nice.
And during the pitch, it was like, oh, like we want these tickets. And of course, they were so generous about it. And then somehow in that conversation, I remember like a trigger went off and I was like, oh, she's like trying to pitch something to me right now. I need to be in pitch mode, like sit up straight and be like, okay, you're not talking about tickets anymore. Because she starts talking about like fundraising with us. And it didn't really click until when she goes, well, Ambassador can do a T-shirt. And I'm like, whoa, this is not what we were expecting. And so we went into like basically beast mode of like, okay, now we got to sit up straight and really enunciate our words and emphasize on our importance of our program.
Right.
To where towards the end of the conversation, it was like, with the ED from the foundation was like, no, we like what this is. We can actually make a lot of noise together with our programs, and we can make this such a beautiful experience. And I remember thinking, I was like, she's already very hard to reach, right? And I remember telling myself in that conversation with him, I was like, I feel like we need to have like some sort of guarantee from it because I know how hard this person is to reach. So I remember at the end of it, after talking for so long, she goes, I'm going to go to my marketing team right now, and I'm gonna see if I can get this approved. I feel like there's a good chance this could work out.
Wow.
2 days later, she writes, we're all in.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is this just very the beginnings, or do you already have stuff that is laid out?
We're in the queue with something right now. Yeah. And so we're launching end of November. Yeah.
End of November. That's like really around the corner already.
Yeah.
It's freaking congratulations.
Thanks.
I'm pretty sure the kids are going to be, whatever y'all launching, I don't know if y'all want to say too much about it, but whatever it is, just to be able to align with the Dallas Stars locally and to be able to help families and they can see y'all's vision too.
Sure.
Not only, it's crazy because maybe, I know that y'all see the big vision and then y'all were in Times Square and the storefront, but going in with the mentality of tickets and realizing that they saw the bigger vision too, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, we need to wake up. This is happening
Exactly.
already. It's the bigger picture. It's not the get some tickets for our kids.
It's such a nice feeling we don't have to pitch. And they're like pitching, you're like, oh, yeah. You have to explain yourself.
Wow.
They're, they already get it.
Wow.
I know.
That's amazing. So November, we'll be able to see something roll out. I'm pretty sure. I don't know what else, how much more y'all can tell us to get it ready for, but be on the lookout. More information, where can they go if people want to find out as far as how to donate, how to become an ambassador, or if you want to align with y'all as far as being a collaborator for a campaign, where do they need to go? And of course, the campaign that's coming up very soon with the Dallas Stars.
Yeah, so you can find us on Instagram at Salood Inc. And as we slide into many companies' DMs, you could always slide into our DMs.
Yes.
And also on our website. So salood.org is our website. And there's areas like to reach out. There's areas to donate. Also just like a preview of like what's going on, what's coming up. All that's available on our website and our Instagram.
Awesome. And just for transparency's sake, there's a lot of nonprofit organizations, they say this and that, and it's so bad. It's so bad that people do that, to take advantage of situations like that. How do people be able to know exactly where the funds are going whenever y'all get the funds for the families and distribute out? I know, like, for example, the company outlined here, we work with water, one of the water companies that is, what's the name?
Oh, nice.
Yes. Charity Water.
Charity Water. I know them.
Charity Water. So Charity Water does the whole website, the whole map of everything that's going on, where their funds are getting distributed and things like that. What is it that y'all do? Is there a report that people are able to find online? Is there anything that y'all able to put out that people can see where their funds are getting put into use?
Yeah, definitely content. I know that's one way to be able to to see exactly who we're impacting. And then also annual reports too, of course, at the end of the year. So.
Okay.
Yeah, and our website tracks the number of families we're impacting.
So there's an actual live counter that you
You
have?
can see it, yeah.
Yeah.
We talk about funds raised and everything.
Yeah. And like one thing to mention, you brought up Charity Water. And when we were launching, that's actually a nonprofit I really looked up to because they have two separate funds. They have one that's dedicated for operating, and they have one that's dedicated for if you donate to them, it's 100% going out to the field.
Yeah.
And they have some donors who fund their operating funds. So when you're donating to Charity Water as maybe an everyday donor, or you're on their website, 100% of that money is going towards the actual mission. So we'd always talk about we want that. And this year we actually got that opportunity. So there's a group here in Dallas, and I'll call them out. The name's Reef Holdings, who really came through for us. And there's hey, we're going to support your operating costs so that when you're doing these collaborations, you can say, hey, 100% of the money raised is going to go direct to the families. So
the operation and a company's taking care of it, and everything else that y'all raise, everything's going to the families.
Yep. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So it's amazing to be able to say that because like you're saying, there are some times where you're I don't know where this dollar's going.
Yeah.
Is a percent of it going towards operating? Is a percent of it going towards marketing, or is it actually all going towards the mission?
So because you're already being taken care of by a company that's helping you out, everything that y'all generate from the campaigns for the collaboration go directly to families. And you'll be able to see the website counter where you'll be able to tell how many families are being helped.
Yep.
Exactly.
Where are you at right now as far as families? How many families have you helped so far?
Over 200.
Over 200 within the span of 2019 up to now. Starting only pretty much a small operation, just two.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
And an intern.
And an intern.
Yeah.
Which, it still counts,
She
but at the end of the day,
counts,
still, too. I'm pretty sure that they do that part too. And it's great that y'all get help. Eventually, I'm sure that y'all going to grow. Charity Water, I like their concept of the app feature where like a subscription type of feature. Like you put your subscription, just like everything else, Netflix or whatever the case might be. And that's just how they get their money.
Oh, I bet.
The subscription-based thing, it was just like, when I heard it, it was like, wow, how come nobody's doing anything like that?
Yeah.
So that's just another idea that I thought it was amazing the way they do business.
For sure.
But it's great that you looked into them as far as how they did it and kind of sort of not copy them, but took their business structure and their approach to be able to separate both and be able to really know that the money's getting put to good use. So that's amazing.
It's important to us too, because I think it's also education, opportunity to be able to explain exactly what we're trying to go towards, because these families, they depend on these services and they need it. So,
okay. Is there a particular story of a family that came back to y'all? I mean, I know this is not the reason why y'all do it,
Sure.
but for whatever reason they wanted to tell you in words or show you appreciation for the things that y'all been doing?
Because with our financial services, he handles it more than I do, because I'm really ambassador focused. So I would probably have you answer that.
Yeah, so there's one family that comes to mind. So when we donate to families, we will probably never see most of them, because the social workers are who give us the applications, and we send them a check in the mail that same week. And there was one family who reached out with some pictures of their son, and they were like, like birthday's coming up, like there was gifts that we really wanted to get him. Like right now, every dollar that we have is like going towards like what we need to keep the lights on. Like this gave us a little bit of extra money to get him something that he's been really wanting for his birthday.
Wow.
And it was
through treatment, right?
Yeah, and he was in treatment at the time, and so that's one of those things too. One thing that's really different about Salood is we understand that everyone's needs are different at different periods of the year too, right? So it could be money's going towards rent, it could be towards gas, it could be towards food, it could be towards childcare for kids who are at home while the mom
too.
or dad is with the other child who's going through treatment. But it also could be like, hey, one of the siblings' birthday is coming up, and we really want to just go to dinner to celebrate them.
To be a family.
Yeah. And that's what we're really big on. We don't dictate how the money is spent. We trust the families. And we're all in on, hey, we're going to give you this money. We trust that you're going to spend it to what your needs are. And we know that we might not be able to anticipate what your exact needs are at this time.
Okay. So that's amazing to me too. I like that part. The fact that, so I'm pretty sure even the cases that y'all actually get to look into and read into the cases of what's going on with the families.
Yeah, I read every application that comes through.
So Kenny, you read every application that comes through to be able to see what you were able to do. And again, other organizations focus on the treatments part, but y'all's is every single day life that because of this hard financial burden that they have, they might not even have the funds to take one of their siblings for a birthday dinner or even a cake or even pay rent that day.
Yeah.
But thanks to y'all, that y'all focus on the everyday, that y'all get to actually, I feel like it's more impactful. Of course, the treatment is super important and be able to get better, but the fact that y'all able to distribute those funds that are really going to impact them the now right now, because they might not have a home. They might not have, they might be fall behind more on their rent.
Yeah.
But y'all are able to take care of that. That is amazing. That is truly amazing. And I'm definitely going to be, looking into helping you out one way or another. We'll talk more to be able to see what I'm able to do for y'all and run something even on our podcast that'll be able to help y'all out.
Of course.
I know Carlos and I had been talked about it before.
Nice.
But we'd be more than happy to do something for you, even running an ad or something on every episode.
Sure.
for some time, and
Let us
then
know.
we'll talk about it so we can put it together for
That'd
you.
be amazing.
That would
Yeah.
be
Yeah,
amazing.
whether it would be
Thanks.
one of your ambassadors or anytime you have an ambassador to have something like that recorded.
I'll give you a shirt.
Yeah.
Free advertising.
However y'all wanted to, whichever, we'll find a way
Oh, I
to make
appreciate
sure that we
that.
make it work, and then we'll get something to every time y'all have something going on. We can put it to good use on some of the episodes, because right
Appreciate
now
that.
there's not a lot of advertising for us, but at the end of the day, we can still use our platform to be able to help out, because I really like what you're doing.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Something we say a lot is in the nonprofit world, I think it's in a lot of different businesses, like word of mouth is oxygen.
Yes.
So like networking, getting the opportunity to come share our story with you, and then also your audience and your followers who are like really passionate about what y'all are talking about is a huge opportunity for us. So thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, we're running short on time. Is there anything else that we didn't talk about as far as the charity and the work that you are doing that y'all feel is super important to talk
Yeah,
about?
I would say we've talked about everything, but I think one thing we want to also emphasize is like every contribution counts. So if your followers, whoever's listening, just those passive donations, whether it's $10, $50, whatever it is, we appreciate everything that comes through, honestly.
Awesome. And then they'll be able to donate at
Yes, at salood.org.
Salood. That's spell it out.
I'm about to say SALOOD.org.
All right. And what about yourself? Anything that we didn't touch about in the charity that you feel is super important to focus on?
Yeah, kind of what I just went off. If you could, keep up with what we're doing, we have a lot of ambassadors who have really inspiring stories. And even if you're not in a place to donate financially, sharing what we're doing is just as valuable. Like being able to share what we're doing, share these ambassador stories, that can make a bigger impact than people realize.
Okay. So
Always.
if you, for whatever reason, your situation at this moment, you're financially not there, but you're on IG, well, I don't know if you're on TikTok or not, but whatever social media you're at, you're able to share on your stories or on whatever area that you have on your social media. Please make sure you go share their content as well. That's also helpful. So
Absolutely.
thank you. We're running short on time. However, we appreciate you very much. Once again, tell me all your social media and the next event, the next project that you have, the next collaboration. Let's touch up again on what it's going to be, and it's coming very soon.
Our website, salood.org, so SALOOD.org, and then Instagram, Salood Inc. So it's Salood, but plus INC. And then we have coming up the Dallas Stars collab later this November.
Wow. Anything else from you?
Yeah, we also have a full plan of collabs next year as well.
Yes.
Yeah, so stay tuned.
We have a full calendar.
You have a full calendar ready for 2024?
And
What?
2025, half of it.
What?
Yeah.
That's amazing. I can't wait to see it. That's why I'm following him on social media. On all social media. What is an important lesson that you learned? Actually, shout outs first. Any shout outs that you have?
Shout out to Reef. Shout out to Carlos over there. And shout out to also our caseworkers, too. They're the ones that help filter those applications that come in. So that's amazing.
Awesome. What about
Yeah,
yourself, Kenny?
I would double down on the social workers at the hospitals.
Mm-hmm.
They're who connect families in need with us.
Mm-hmm.
So we couldn't do what we do to help families without them. Also, our ambassadors who bravely are the face of collaborations and will go on the news and radio stations.
Yep.
To them, and then also the brands, right? So the brands that give a kid that opportunity, but then also all of our followers who have supported along the way in one way or not.
That's amazing. Okay, what is an important lesson that you learned doing this nonprofit that you would tell your younger self that will help somebody else out? What would that be?
I saw your question. I seen you ask that, and I've thought about this the
Thank
entire
you.
time. You go first, because I probably will.
I said I didn't know this question was coming.
Yeah,
So
I saw that.
I would say something that I learned very early on in Salood was when you're doing something that's different, be okay with being met with some contention. Because if you're doing something that's different, not everyone's going to grasp it right away. Because it's not oh yeah, other nonprofits are doing this. And it has to do with anything with nonprofits. It can be applied to a lot of businesses. If you're emerging a new concept,
Yeah.
realize that not everyone will be accepting of it right away because it might be the first time they're hearing about something like this.
Yeah.
And there's some stories of when we were launching Salood, and we were talking to some foundations about what we're trying to do, and we were met with some contention because they're like, wait, you're going to have kids be ambassadors and, you know, different things like that. Like, we believed in what we were doing so much that we were able to see past it and actually like keep pushing forward. I said that's probably the first lesson I learned starting Salood.
Yeah, that's amazing. What about yourself?
Being patient.
Being patient.
I'm the opposite of that, so it's kind of ironic that I'm saying that. But I think being patient definitely something that I would want to tell anybody that's starting something new. Because like for both of us, I worked a full-time job and I went full-time in April, so I was there for 2 years before that. He's been working a full-time this entire time, and that is his end goal too one day. But being patient is probably like has saved us in so many ways, because if you're rushing through, you make miscalculated choices and you're scattered, and it's just like, just take it easy. And I wish I could tell myself that too back then, because I can remember when we first started reaching out to like celebrities and like brand ambassadors and brands, and I would be like, oh, Nike didn't write me back today. Something else is better around the corner, like Stony Clover, you know. And it's just telling yourself like, hey, it's gonna be okay. And again, also kind of picking back what he said, is like also believing in what you're talking about, because you're the one doing it. And again, people do push back. We get pushed back till today, but we don't care. We know exactly what we're doing. We know exactly where we're headed, and look where we're getting at. So we know the impact that we're making. It's worth it all every single day.
That's amazing. I believe you. You know what I mean? Because it takes a lot of persistence, again, to be told no hundreds of times.
And being comfortable with that too.
Yeah.
Because some people are not. I understand, like I have people in my network that are also, I'm thinking of all the lessons. Also don't be afraid to ask.
Yeah.
I would say I know a lot of people that are intimidated by a very simple question of like, can I do this? Can I do that? Also, they'll tell themselves, or I haven't told myself too, do I feel qualified? But it's like having that like mindset, like, no, go ahead and ask. I actually believe it's how you ask too. Even as ridiculous as it is, if it's conveyed in a way that seems like flawless, and that person might be responsive. If not, so be it. I'll move on. But
at least you know.
Oh, I know.
At least you know.
And getting comfortable with that, because I too we'd be intimidated even asking. I can think of an example actually. Is like we were trying to get Emily Blunt, the actress, to support us, just because we were fans of her and her husband, what their work they'd done, and like. I remember telling him, like, I don't think we're ready for a pitch like this, but let's figure it out. She ended up supporting us and gave us like a private donation. But because it's like just being comfortable with that outlandish, you know, request, it could work sometimes, and being comfortable with it. And if they say no, okay, I'll come back in a few months. Yeah,
because you have celebrity endorsements, right? How many other ones do you have?
The first one that was locally, JC, and then we elevated that following year with Amy Poehler, and then Zach Levi, and then Emily Blunt's been one of them. Our ultimate success story was Kristen Bell from Frozen, and those. Yeah,
she posted about a necklace one of our ambassadors created, and it sold out.
Oh, sold out within like 24 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
She was also another one that declined, not because they don't want to work with you, it's because schedules, and also the world's fighting for their attention.
Yeah.
That was like 4 times told no, and the 5th was like, yeah, she wants this.
But it's crazy to me the fact that we'll talk about it here and I'll tell you what I mean. Okay, another question that I have for you before I let y'all go. This is more personal, but it's more something that I say usually, that I heard these words. I'm not immortal. I am mortal, and I will die one day. That's not to scare me. That's to make me realize that I'm not here for a long time. I'm not here forever. My time is limited, and I need to do something now.
Sure.
With that, I wish y'all a long, prosperous life. I hope that y'all can continue to make a difference in the world, and with everything that y'all do. With that, at the end, what do you want people to think or feel about y'all's life?
You want to go again first? Like thinking about that. I hope that I'm thinking about it now too. I hope, because I'm naturally like behind the scenes. I'm not very like, you know. So I always just hope if I were to be in the forefront, I would at least trigger other people to do good. Like at least that presence, something like that. I don't know.
Absolutely. No. It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
That was almost exactly like mine. I was going to say, I hope what I do and my actions, it could be on a daily basis or a yearly, inspire someone to go after something that's important to them. And that could be with work, that could be with family. But I think it's good to see people going after their dreams, and taking down those mental barriers that you might have that are preventing you from getting there. And opportunities like this to like share stories. There could be a story that resonates with somebody, and they're like, okay, I feel that. And hearing someone else's experience with it, I hope it can inspire somebody to go after what they want.
Yeah, it means a lot, actually.
I like the sometimes I want to say that nothing's by accident, because I believe that I'm not in control of certain things. And it makes me want to like feel funny about that. I'm not like
The purpose.
I don't have not a purpose, but not necessarily me guiding my life,
Gotcha.
But the things that y'all say are really aligned with the things that I talk about. Like y'all having y'all here, not being famous or whatever the case might be, it doesn't matter, because to me, y'all are my celebrities, right? Y'all my celebrities that I'm here to tell y'all stories to tell. And see, I know you're not Latino, but it doesn't matter. As human beings, that y'all came together to collaborate on something amazing. So for me, it's more of showing Latinos doing amazing things, amazing work, or even coming together as human beings to be able to work together and do something that is impactful for the community, for the world. And that's the reason why I do that. Would I like to, because I see the influence of the celebrities, have a celebrity? Of course. But to me, it's more important that just like y'all's ambassadors are like y'all celebrities that y'all put in the forefront to be able to sell that product, because y'all believe in that, just like I believe in y'all, on every single person that comes here, So that's the reason why I feel like certain things we're aligned.
Yeah.
Of the things that we do, because I firmly believe in what I'm doing. It's like y'all firmly believe in what y'all doing. That is like definitely life changing. It's not only changing. Again, I do see the impact of the celebrity because it sells out. But at the end of the day, I feel every individual is just as important to be able to give that spotlight.
Oh, for sure. You triggered a thought. It's like with these ambassadors, one favorite part that we mutually share, Kenny and I, is like, we love the idea that these kids are like them, right? So meaning they're like, some don't have any hair. Some are in this like different space in life, but they're out achieving things at such a high level that hopefully a kid that's in Ohio or something that's going through something similar can see that and be like, oh, I can be also that too. Like I can get through. It's just the representation part of everything.
Yes.
Which means probably the most to me a lot, actually.
And then the other thing that you were talking about, there's power in sharing with the stories, with the kids being the way that they are, actually talking about the real things that they had, that they lost their hair, and they're selling this hat now that you can wear. Not only if you lose your hair, but you can still wear it regardless because it looks amazing. And have them pitch it to people and show the reason why they should get this is truly amazing as well too. And then again, I know the y'all story. I don't know any other Latino that does a charity. I know a few, but as far as the impact that y'all doing, that I get to really see and tap in, is just amazing to me. That I feel like your story, y'all story, will be able to, while the time we share, be able to touch somebody, at least minimum be able to donate or be able to trigger something to be able to take some actions and do something that they've been wanting to do. Because y'all started with very little. And then y'all got to be in Times Square, and I think it's truly amazing. So thank you very much for being here with everything. Again, as I mentioned that y'all done, starting off with just an idea, kind of sort of working it out, figuring out how to do it, and actually really, really, really lining up with what y'all wanted to do and starting to see results. And not only that, but I'm telling you, the impact that you're doing to the families of certain things that I can't relate, right? But I know it's happening. I know that they might not have gas to get to their treatment, but with the work y'all doing, y'all might be able to give them gas money to get to that treatment. Maybe the dad is not able to work anymore. He ran out of days, and he's just running in his few last days off or whatever the case might be, and y'all be able to provide the money to be able to pay for next month's rent, at least temporarily. But for the moment, they get that and they'll be able to take care of the kid, because a lot of the times they want to focus on the kid to make sure that they get well. All that, with everything that y'all doing, I have no doubt in my mind they are definitely a global Latin factor. So Kenny and Joshua, you're our global Latin factor. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate y'all's time very much.
Yeah,
thank you.
Once again, the website to get y'all, to get a hold of y'all, to donate, to become an ambassador, to get more informed about everything that y'all doing.
Salood.org. and then Instagram Salood Inc.
All right. Thank you very much. This was another episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast. Remember to subscribe. And remember, we are just like you. We are human. We are the spice in this melting pot that it is the world. Till next time. Thank you. Thank you very much for checking out another episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much. It helps us a lot. You're already here, so give us a like, give us a subscribe, and give us a comment. We appreciate you very much. Thank you.
What is the la Vigo? Walks like a pedo, but in fact is a flamingo. Coming to Havana, Henry from Puerto Rico. On a pirate ship, he don't know where do we go. The birds of the